Good afternoon, and welcome to Gator's Garage, the home of all things historical gaming in and around the great city of Savannah, Georgia. I am Mike Baker, the Gator, and I'm your host for this afternoon's show. Today, we are going to be doing an unboxing and a bit of a discussion of the new game by Firelock Games, Port Royal. There you go. If you've watched any of the press at all, there we go. We'll get you a good shot here. Do do do. Vanna White, I am not. There we go. But if you've been watching the press at all, you've watched this thing go to Kickstarter, seen it launch. Of course, they're well known for their game, Blood and Plunder, and they followed this up with a whole bunch of bloody games. Pardon the British pun there. Blood and Valor, Blood and Crowns, Blood and Steel. They have a forthcoming game called Blood and Bayonets, which is up on Kickstarter now. So a really going and growing skirmish gaming company. Here at Gator Games, we like Firelock for that reason. We're huge fans of 28 millimeter skirmish. We think the two scales tie very well together. 28 millimeter miniatures with a small figure count just makes for a fantastic game. And certainly this game is no exception. As we look in the box, we find, of course, the ever popular rule book, and it has a couple of interesting changes from the other Firelock games. For one thing, it's a bit of an I go, you go. You roll for initiative, and the player that has the initiative gets to act first. The other player gets to react. So that's going to be a little different than what we're used to. But many of the other mechanics are still there. Pluck, strike test, things that we're kind of familiar with. I like to describe Port Royal as one of those RPG games without a GM. In this game, like in Mordheim, like in Stargrave, um, shoot, we could go on and on. Kill Team, I think, to a certain extent. You take a team of adventurers into the city, and of course, the backstory is that Port Royal's been struck by a major earthquake. Buildings have collapsed. People are dead. Authorities breaking down, and everybody's kind of either in it for what they can get or trying to keep order, mostly in it for what they can get. Even the folks that are nominally in charge of keeping order are not above a little bit of graft and corruption and pocket lining. So there's a lot going on. You form a band of adventurers, and you go out to raid the city and got to try and stay out of the way or go through other bands of adventurers. Watch out for falling buildings. Watch out for animals. Watch out for any number of hazards that the game will present you. So, absolutely interesting game here. It's going to be played with just 5, 6, 7 figures. Very easy to pull a war band together. You could even pull a war band if you currently play Blood and Plunder. It would not be out of the way to pull a war band out of your current Blood and Plunder crew. And there's even rules in here to do a crossover between Port Royal and Blood and Plunder. So a lot of game in the box retails around $99. We sell it for $89, so about 10% off. And again, I think if it's that sweet spot that we here at Gator are always looking for of a good value for our players. By the way, before we get too much further, do us a favor, push that like button. Doesn't cost nothing, helps us out a lot. Share with your friends. Share with your game group. Let folks know that we're here. Let them know what you think about Port Royal. Leave a comment in the section below. Let us know what you think about Port Royal. What you think about Blood and Plunder or Firelock Games or just any games of that genre. What do you think of the idea of the RPG without the GM, which is really how I describe these games? Because you've got a lot of the elements of an RPG. You've got the character building. You've got the storytelling, but you can do it with as few as 2 players. Actually, I think you can do this with as few as 1. I believe there's a solo module as well, so you can do it with solitaire all the way up to as many players as definitely 2 players. I haven't seen where you can do multi. I know if you flip it over to Blood and Crowns, it's easy to do multiplayer with the not Blood and Crowns, Blood and Plunder. It's easy to do multiplayer with the card deck. So absolutely great game. Another winner, I think, from Firelock Games. I think another game that's probably destined to become a bit of a table classic. So we looked at the rule book. Again, not horribly thick. Certainly much smaller than the Blood and Plunder rule book, but it's got a lot less going on. I don't even know if they have even ship sailing in this one. But again, a very, very simple rule book. I know they've already started putting out some errata for it because anytime you write rules and people start playing, then they ask questions and you got to get answers, and that's fantastic. Um, something else that you find in the box right off the top is a quick reference card. It's made of a good card stock. Be nothing to make a couple, three copies of these, maybe for you and your buddy, so that you each can have one to reference. So there you go. The usual weapons show up here: swords, knives, bayonets, muskets, all the good stuff. Uh, you get to play on a, if you like, you can play on a mat, and I think this is kind of cool. If you know anything about Firelock Games, most of their play areas are like 2x3 or 3x3, which makes it really great for just about any game store, even mine, where you don't have a lot of room, or even a restaurant. This is your play mat, and you've got plenty of room here. I'd say at a glance, it looks like it might be 2.5 by 2.5. So it's again, out of the box, throw the mat down, throw the terrain down, grab your figures, and beat your buddy. What could be better than that? Okay, so next thing is to look at the gameplay components. They do not have the ubiquitous order dice. I think Firelock is kind of moving away from those because of the price point. What I am starting to see in more of their games, I saw this with the Blood and Crown counter set, is they're starting to use counters now for fatigue and for shaken, also for ducking for cover, and for smoke, smoke clouds when you do your shooting. They've also got fortune tokens, which is pretty cool, and objective markers, which is here, 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 and here. There you go. They also have built-in rulers, short, medium, long. Short, medium, long. I think one is for rifles, the other's for pistols. Um, the other short measuring tools are for the different players, 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. So you can darn near play the game without a ruler. I think if you get longer than long, you're out of range anyway. So there you go. Um, Really, again, great components. Again, you can see it's a good thick card stock. I'm looking forward to popping this thing out, putting it on the table, beating on my buddies. On the backside, you've got numbered objective markers. There we go, numbered objective markers. You've got, and this is probably my only critique, is that the fatigue and shaking counters are the same on the back and front. I think I would have backprinted them a little differently so that you could actually use both sides of the counters, because you never have enough of one or the other. Same thing with the going down counter. I might have appropriated that with another statistic marker. The smoke markers are perfect. You got a 2 and you got a 1. For units in this game, you're not going to get more smoke markers than that. I don't even know if cannons are in the game. So there you go. Again, good heavy card stock. Punch it out. Throw the little pieces in a Ziploc bag. Put the rulers in the box, and you are absolutely ready you're ready to stow the game, ready for the next play. The other, just again, huge value that comes in this game. So we've got the rule book, we've got the mat, we've got great looking cardstock components, which is fantastic. They extend that cardstock to building. So if anybody knows anything about me, I'm a building fiend. I like to build them. Honestly, Gator Games, we sell quite a few of them because y'all like them. These are everybody's favorite kind of building, pre-painted. So the less painting you have to do, the better. Again, it's a good heavy cardstock. I'm looking forward to putting these together, unless of course my wife beats me to it, because she's a terrain fiend. We're gonna be actually showing some pictures of some mushrooms for the core here shortly on our website. Be looking for that, and they've been painted by her. So yeah, both me and my wife just love to mess around with terrain. Terrain makes the game, and certainly when you have a skirmish game, you want a lot of it. So this is sheet 1. Uh, Sheet 2, more goodies. And again, all this comes in the basic box. From us, it's under $90. There you go. Sheet 3, got some ladders there so you can go up and down. If you've played if you played Mordheim or Kill Team or Frostgrave or Stargrave, you know that when you're playing these man-to-man games, there's a lot of up and down going on. There's a lot of, the terrain is incredibly dense. And that's important. It just makes for a more interesting game. This is number 5. So again, just beautiful, beautiful terrain. I can't wait to see it on the tabletop. I think it's going to be amazing. Um, number this is number 5. So there you go. And you'll notice they're lettered. The set includes instructions for how to put the stuff together, which is always good. sometimes with models, it's in the miniature gaming market, it can be a real die roll as to whether or not you get instructions to help you put stuff together. Here you go. This is sheet number 6. So 6 sheets, actually 7 sheets of cardstock if you count the markers, but 6 sheets of building cardstock, which is amazing. We will be putting the buildings together on a different video, as well as showing some of the figures assembled and, if not painted, at least primed. So there you go. There's your instructions for putting your buildings together. Again, it's designed to get you up and get you moving and get you playing as quickly as possible. The other thing I like about this game, it does come with its own figures. So if you have not played Blood and Plunder, if you have not played any 28 millimeter pirate games, you have a good start right here. I want to say there are 18 figures in this bag. Let me get it out here. There we go. And there's the first sprue. I haven't, as you can see, I have not taken any of these off yet. I really wanted to give you guys a good look at how the sprues came together. They come with 6 guys. I don't know if you noticed, but they come with instructions. These are multi-part. They do give you some suggestions of how to put the guys and the girls together. I see some numbers on the instructions. Not sure I see any numbers on the. Yeah, there's some numbers on the sprue, but you'll have to look really close to see them. But that's a pretty helpful there. Pardon the top view of my head. So again, good instructions, good figures, bases. Again, the whole thing designed. How can I get my figures on the table in a hurry? To be honest, if I were really new to miniature gaming, and I'm hoping that there are people that watch this channel that are, I might look through the rules, put together a couple of 6-person crews, paint one maybe beige, paint one brown, and start playing. And the reason I say beige and brown, those are great base colors to start painting from, but they're also different. So when you're looking at the map, you can say, "Oh, that's your beige guy. That's my brown guy." It looks better than gray plastic as well. And if you've got 2 people playing, it's easier to keep gray plastic apart. I still remember years ago when I was getting into Lord of the Rings, I was a little slow to get all my minis painted, and my wife was like, "We've got to get this gray plastic painted because it's hard to tell." So, a couple of good ideas there. That was 2. Here's your third sprue, and again, a total of 18 guys. If I were putting this together, I think I would read through the rules first, which is the other reason I haven't popped them off, and decide how I wanted to build my crew, and then I would go ahead and assemble my crew, get them base coated, and get to playing. I think one of the biggest things when we're starting a new game is to keep that excitement by getting down and playing the game. And the faster you can do that, the more fun it's going to be. Because once you start playing it, then it's like, oh, I see how the mechanics work. I see how the figures feel in my hands, and it's a much more interesting experience. Again, back to the gameplay. This is not just a skirmish game. It is a role playing game in a box. It's you actually in between, so you go through various scenarios, and your crews, those that survive, will gain skills and grow. As I'm looking at the rule book here, will gain skills and become more effective as time goes on. I'm sure you can recruit additional crew members. To be honest, I'm up to page 17. I have lots on my plate. Uh, Check out my bookmark, Gator Games and Books card, because why not? Upside down. There we go. There we go. But nothing like a shameless plug for the store, right? But yeah, so that's the rule book. That's the style of game. If you're looking for something that's got a little bit more storyline than just, okay, let's get together and do a one-off skirmish and roll some dice. If you want to see your characters grow from game to game and maybe even be able to do it over the course of an evening or even a weekend, this is a great game for you. On the other hand, if you just want to do one-off skirmishes, it's good for that as well. And there's even a point, again, talking back to you, Blood and Plunder players. I believe there's even a crossover in here into Blood and Plunder. So this game can be, it's a standalone. If you've never played a 28 millimeter skirmish game before, or a 28 millimeter war game, this is a really good place to start. Who doesn't like pirates? I mean, I think we all, just have a good time. Gives us a chance to kind of push the edges there. So it's a great standalone game. It's a great introductory game with a small rule set. You can sit down and work your way through it. There's already a number of other videos on YouTube that describe what's in the box and how to play. And of course, we here at Gator Games are always available. We're learning as well. So if you got a question, you can drop us an email, and that'll be in the comment section below. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful. I hope it's honestly, I hope it's motivated you to kind of take a look at the game. Best way to support the channel and what we're doing here is to buy some merch, and we have several copies of this game on hand. I looked at it. I like the value that Firelock brings. I think it brings you, the gamer, a lot of bang for your buck. And so I'm like, yeah, let me get some copies of this and let me tell people about it. My number one big goal here is to grow the gaming hobby, both in terms of new players. So if you're just scrolling through and you happen to see this, welcome, welcome. And in terms of giving people that are already playing other options and ideas of ways they can enjoy the tabletop hobby. All that being said, I'm going to thank you for the afternoon. Again, like and share. Leave a comment. All that helps the algorithm and helps our channel grow. The best way to keep me making videos is to buy some merchandise from Gator Games and Books. We do have quite a range of pirate stuff. We've got the Blackbeard starter set for Blood and Plunder. And that comes in at around $89, about the same price as this box set here. We also have several of their troop boxes, as well as other troops in the same time period that you can plug into the whole Blood and Plunder or Port Royal rule set. So there you go. Also, if you want to just buy us a cup of coffee for $5, you can do that at Ko-fi or Patreon. Just keep the gator moving. Don't let him get too skinny. Want to thank you again for your time, and happy gaming.